So you got some buy-to-let properties, but you don't want to lose control. In today's video, I'm going to show you how you can manage your own portfolio. In today's video, I'm going to be using a piece of software called Lendlord. I've put a link in the description. I'll pin it to the top as well. Go on it now and make an account for this video, and you're going to be able to manage everything from there. And if you do want to upgrade to the premium, because everything pretty much is free, there's some amazing pieces on there. And if you use the code ASPIREVIP, you'll get a 50% discount for the next 7 days of this video going out, so make sure you go do that now. So hopefully you've got Lendlord in front of you whilst you're watching this video. There's a lot to manage in your own portfolio, but the two major parts are de-risking yourself, which I'll go through some compliance, etc. in a second, and almost as important, if not more important for some, getting paid. All right, we actually want to make some money from this. There's no point having a tenant live in your home, or your house, I should say, their home, and you not getting paid for it. So let's go through the compliance side of things first of all. Well, when you're renting out a property, you need to make sure you've got certain things in place, such as an energy performance certificate, an EPC, and you need to make sure that's E or above. It's a legal requirement to be E or above in order to rent out to a new tenant. You're also going to need an EICR, which is an electrical certification. And what this does is it basically says that the electrics in the house are signed off and safe. Now, I don't want to go dramatic here, but if you didn't have that, and then let's say a tenant died in your property, it happens, from something to do with the electrics, you would be liable. And a lot of this stuff is not just fines, it's jailable offences, let alone why would you want to allow for anything like that to happen. The next is going to be your CP12s, your gas safety certificates. Again, legal requirement here, but also making sure your tenant's safe in your property. The next things are really just the compliance of renting out. So they need the right to rent. You need to make sure you're doing the right checks on the tenant. You need to be issuing a guide on how to let in the UK. You also need to make sure you've got a legally compliant AST. Now, an AST is an assured short hold tenancy. There's different types of tenancy agreements, but the AST is the most common and probably the most legally protected for you and the tenant. So make sure you've got everything in place. Now, why is it so important to get everything? Well, it's not when it all goes well, but much like anything, when it all goes wrong, you want to make sure you've got these things in place. If you haven't issued the right to rent, how to rent, EPCs, everything like that it's a legal requirement, good luck evicting a tenant just because they're not paying you. It makes it a lot harder to get somebody out their house. The downside, I think it's a downside. If you're a tenant, you might hate me for saying this. I think a downside of our country is we protect tenants way too much when they're poor tenants. Now, let me be clear, because there's some shitty landlords out there as well, right? But when you've got a good tenant and a good landlord, everything works really well. But when you've got a bad tenant, good landlord, the bad tenant's often overprotected. And so you need to make sure you're doing absolutely everything to make it safe for you to let the property. So this is where Lendlord comes in. So on Lendlord, click Manage. You should have this by now. If you don't, genuinely, just get it now. It's free. It's going to blow your mind. You go on Manage, and I've added 10 of my own properties on there. These are ones that I do own personally. I have got mortgages on them. I've just not added them on for this video. So then what I do is I could go on My Tenants, add my first tenant, and you can see it takes the full contact details. If they're an active tenant, or any tenant that applies, you can start going through referencing. You've put the full tenancy details, and when the rental payments are coming in, which is really important, which I'll link back to in a moment. And then, of course, security. Have they got a guarantor or not? You can also, on this, end up looking into payment schedules and your maintenance report. So you can actually link it up with a system, and you can invite the tenant in. And I'll show you this for a second. You click a tenant, you go through it, and then what it does is it can raise reports to the system, which you can then send to your handyman, handywoman that's going to get the job done. Now, the reason I said about the money earlier, this is where it's really cool, I think, is you can actually track your wealth as it's going through with your assets, liabilities. you can set benchmark and metrics to see how it's comparing year on year. But also, you can look at your transactions and reports. Now, I've not got anything open right now because I've not linked it for this demo purposes. But get this, you can sync Lendlord with your bank so it can track when the tenant is paying and, more importantly, when they're not paying. This absolutely blows my mind. So what you can do is it flags if it's linked to Xero, for example, some software for accounting, great, or your bank account, and it will notify you if you haven't been paid. Now, this is really important because you want to make sure if you don't get paid, you need to be jumping on that straight away. One of the biggest things for making sure that you're not in arrears with tenants is reminding them. A lot of the time, and this is from personal experience, I own a management agency with over 200 managed units, right? The thing that I've learned is it's the speed that kills the deal. So it's not often that it's the tenant actually refusing to pay or dodging payments. Honestly, sometimes they just haven't set up their standing order properly, they've missed a payment, and then if you wait a couple of weeks before you get on it, they've spent the money already, and then you're going to need to work out a payment plan. So the great thing about having Lendlord is you can do absolutely everything in the same place. So you can have your whole portfolio on there. You can have a task system when you need to be doing things like reminder to do another gas safety next year and whatever it is. You can upload all of your files so you've got them in one place, such as your purchase agreement, your memorandum of sales, gas safety, EPCs, EICRs, floor plan, insurance policy, building up regulations, approval, planning permissions, AST, PAT test, Legionnaire risk, inventory, fire risk assessment, and anything else that you think is appropriate. And it breaks it down on a property by property basis. So you can see number 9 Heathcroft, 52 Pullman, 10 Christchurch. These are properties that I own, right? And I can have absolutely everything in one place. Now, I want to be honest with you. I would strongly recommend you having a management agent. Honestly, I own one and it's a bloody nightmare managing tenants. It really is. So being honest with you, if you've got a local agent that can manage it for you, 100% do it because there's so much that you need to know. However, number one, if you do want to manage it yourself, this is the best platform that I've found for people with portfolios up to like 50, I would say. Lendlord is going to be absolutely perfect for you to track your profit, your loss, each transaction, your reporting, your KPIs, and absolutely everything in one place. The final two things I want to point out is, number one, this interactive report. So it's just at the bottom here, but check this out. So again, this is just this portfolio, right, that I've put on for a demo. But you can see total equity, portfolio loan to value, and you can look at how much you want to release, which I'll get back to in a second. Performance, cash on cash returns, your top performing properties, your worst performing properties, taxes that you're going to need to pay, prospect properties, so you can actually see other properties in the area that are on Rightmove that might be good for you. How cool is that? Now, the second thing I really want to talk about is the way Lendlord makes money isn't by you using their platform. Obviously, they lose money. They've got engineers, software engineers that they're paying to make this incredible piece of tech for you. The way they make money is actually kind of like a broker. So they can also be your mortgage broker, and I've used them plenty of times, by the way, and they get the same deals, if not better deals than other people, and you can get bridging. So what you can do is you can put it here. You see this section, how much equity can I release? And you can just scroll across, and then you can click on schedule a call with your digital broker and book it in with the team there immediately, which is absolutely incredible. And for me, having everything in one place. So within that, by the way, you can then put when your fixed mortgage is up. I can put the mortgage on there, the lender, the current rate I'm getting, the expiry date, monthly cost, loan to value. Now, the reason that's really important is you can also put the end date of when your mortgage comes to an end. And what you can do, you can set up something within Lendlord where a few months before, say 3 to 6 months before it's getting to the end of the fixed, you can start the refinance process with Lendlord in one place, and it will be able to compare the new rates, the new lending, how much equity you can get, and it's all in the same place. And the cool thing about that is, with its other tools, if Lendlord knows that you're about to have another 50 to 100,000 pounds, it can then look for other properties in the area similar to your properties that you might want to invest the money into. It's absolutely incredible, and genuinely there's so much available on the free feature, but I strongly recommend you use premium. All of my mentees I recommend using premium because they've got some incredible things on there. And again, the link, if you go on there to upgrade, it's Aspire VIP. I don't get paid anything if you use that code and upgrade, by the way. It just gives you an entire year of premium for something like 50 quid, which is absolutely stupid. So managing your own property, would I recommend it? No. I wouldn't. Honestly, I wouldn't. If I didn't own my own management company, I would outsource it. And before I had a management company, I did. However, I still use Lendlord to track everything, just to make sure I'm getting paid on time, to make sure I'm tracking the portfolio growth over time. I'm a numbers person, and you can't improve what you don't measure. And Lendlord, in my opinion, is the best data management platform for your property portfolio, bar none. So if you haven't already, make sure to click the link. Sign up to it. It's completely free. Get the premium if you want. It's Aspire VIP. I hope this has been some value to you. If it has, make sure to hit the subscribe and the notification bell. Tap that like button, and I'll see you in the next video.